All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'd like to welcome you here to the Braddock Bay Ecosystem Restoration Project. We're actually cutting the ribbon on this project, but as you can see behind us, not today, but other days, construction would be going on. So we're getting there, but we figured we'd do it a little bit ahead of time so you guys can get out here, kind of see the site, and also before the cold weather moves in. I know, don't shoot me for saying it, cold weather is coming, believe it or not. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it right over to Supervisor Bill Rylick. He's the Town of Greece Supervisor.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you very much. We are very excited to see this project moving along and coming close to completion. The amount of impact that it'll have on the ecosystem is phenomenal. I was talking to Anthony Daniele the other day, and he mentioned that when you see these clumps of grass out there, large clumps, matter of fact, people think that that means that the bay is shallow. What it really is parts of the ecosystem are breaking off and floating in the water, almost like a moving island. And they can just be pulled along because the fact that that's what's happening. It's being destroyed. And with this new effort that they're putting in place, narrowing the spit back to 1972 pre-Hurricane Agnes days, it will eliminate the further erosion of the ecosystem. On the boating side, we're very excited equally the opportunities it'll bring to the many residents that have boats. We've made contractual arrangement with the Daniele family, and they've got all kinds of plans that we'll start seeing come to life next year. The beginning will be 100 new docks, followed by subsequently up to 300 more as the need arises, as well as a renovation of the buildings, which you can see on the renderings, including not only a ship store, but a store to get snacks and boating needs, ice and some other food, as well as a limited menu restaurant, hamburgers, hot dogs, that kind of activity. So it's exciting what's happening here, the renovations, the parking lot will be fixed. So many things will be improved over the next 2 to 3 years. I think everyone will be very pleased when they come and take a look at what this has allowed us to do to invest in this side. And I remember back in the 80s when there were 300 boats out there. I had a boat out there. The former supervisor, Don Riley, had a boat out there. Our residents were enjoying all that this area has to offer. And this is one of the few access points that we have to the water on Lake Ontario through Braddock's Bay, just the way the development has gone over the years to Town of Greece. So this is great for the ecosystem. This is great for the local boaters. This is great for the local economy, and even the homeowners. Certainly, to have a deteriorating marina doesn't help anyone, but to have one that's vibrant and full of life is something that they're going to see in a short time. I'd like to thank the Senator for leading us off, working with not only the Corps of Engineers, EPA, the Town of Greece, and all involved to pull us all together to make sure we could make this a successful project, which we've done. At this time, I'd like to introduce Chris from the Senator's office. Chris, would you like to say a few words?
Thanks. Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here on behalf of Senator Chuck Schumer as well, to be here in support of this great project. Senator Schumer's a couple of years ago now, maybe almost 2 or 3 years ago, in first hearing about the project and the interest in both preserving the wetlands, how this could be a real win-win to preserve the wetlands, increase the amount of habitat and ecological resources that we have here at the Bay, and at the same time also contribute and lay a good foundation for then helping to facilitate recreational activities and boating here on the Bay as well. So it was a real win-win. And it's something that's been made possible because of the Federal Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. The GLRI program is one that Senator Schumer has fought for and continuing to fight for every year to get funding to do important projects on Lake Ontario, on our other Great Lakes, to both preserve the ecology of the lake and make investments in our nation's largest reserve of fresh water. And so I on behalf of Senator Schumer, I also would like to thank Judith Enck, our EPA Region 2 Administrator, who worked very closely with him on this project, and everyone at EPA, as well as the Army Corps of Engineers and the town of Greece. And I also want to thank the members of the Rochester Embayment Remedial Action Committee, folks that are here from the Rochester area who have worked many years on addressing the environmental issues here along Lake Ontario. The Rochester Embayment is one of about 30 EPA designated areas of concern. These are 30 distinct spots along the Great Lakes that are have some of the worst environmental degradation. And over the last couple of decades, several projects have been done to clean up contamination and sediment and doing some other remedial activities to delist Rochester to be, I think, maybe only the second of the 30 that could have an opportunity to be delisted. And one of the last remaining criteria that we need to be able to show there's been improvement is the wetlands habitat. So SUNY Brockport, working with the project, will be undertaking follow-on studies to certify and monitor and make sure that the wetlands are thriving, that the barrier beach is protecting them, and that the system's working correctly. So it's a real win-win, and really appreciate everyone for being here, and can't wait to come back next summer and enjoy it. Thanks so much, everyone.
Spring.
Or spring.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, we'll have U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Buffalo District Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Adam Chikansky. Sir.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'll do yours, you do mine.
Thank you. Well, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is honored really to be part of the team responsible for delivering this ecosystem restoration project for Braddock Bay that serves to reverse the destructive impacts of erosion that have really led to the loss of over 100 acres of wetlands here this past 100 years. The barrier beach that Andy was talking about, you see being constructed back there, prevent future loss of wetlands while also allowing for recovery and restoration of wetlands that have been previously lost, and also enabling the expansion of both avian and aquatic habitats. Projects always have great teams behind them, and we've been very fortunate to be part of really a great team here. You heard some of those members listed just now in the previous comments, but great team that's included the US EPA, also the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, SUNY Brockport, the town of Greece, and the Rochester Embayment Remedial Action Plan Oversight Committee. We're also very appreciative of the continued and active support of both Senator Schumer and Congresswoman Slaughter. So appreciate just the team effort that's gone into making this project the success that it has been. 70 years ago, the Army Corps of Engineers was out here pulling wooden pilings that used to support the old railroad trestle, pulling those wooden pilings to reestablish the natural outlet to the bay. 50 years ago, we were in the middle of doing an extensive study that was looking specifically at shoreline protection measures. Today, it's great to finally see the final stages of work being completed to restore the ecosystem here in a sustainable manner. The Army Corps of Engineers is proud to be able to serve the community through the ecosystem restoration project here in Braddock Bay, and also through the shoreline resiliency benefits that it will bring as well. And we look forward to working with the community throughout the shores of Lake Ontario on future similar projects. Thank you very much.
Last but not least, we have Region 2 Administrator, Ms. Judith Enck.
Hi, everyone. As I once heard a member of Congress say everything's been said, but not by everyone. So I want to spend a little bit of time going through the details of this project. I'm Judith Enck, the Regional Administrator with EPA Region 2. And this has been a great partnership with every level of government. You've heard from the town supervisor, our partners at the Army Corps of Engineers, the state DEC. I really particularly want to thank Senator Chuck Schumer, who has been a very very vigorous supporter for this project and other environmental projects in the region. We also heard a lot from academics, from nonprofit groups like Audubon and the Nature Conservancy, and to be honest, everyone was not on exactly the same page in the beginning, so we did what I think government always should do. We sat down and we listened to people, particularly people who had a different point of view, and then we made some revisions. And I think in the end, we get a better project that I think everyone can support. EPA has contributed $10.7 million to this project, and I want to particularly publicly commend my EPA colleague, Fred Lucky, who's been here every step of the way. This is a great day for Fred. And over the last 6 years, EPA has provided a total of $111 million just in New York State to protect the Great Lakes. And this is part of President Obama's Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, which has had 4 main points. One is cleaning up toxics. The other is combating invasive species, protecting watersheds from polluted runoff, and then restoring wetlands and other habitats. So across the Great Lakes, we've done a lot. I think this particular project will do a lot to help redevelop the marina, supporting the local economy in a really important way, and at the same time have some tremendous ecological benefits. So I think it's a great illustration of sustainable economic development and a clean environment going hand in hand. This beach is critical to protecting Braddock Bay and will restore it as a wetland habitat. Why does DEC and the Army Corps and EPA work so hard to protect wetlands? Well, first, for those of you who care about your properties, wetlands reduces flooding, particularly during violent storms. It filters water. It provides important habitat for fish and birds, and quieter than motorboats. Lake Ontario is one of the most important and prominent Great Lakes. It's small but deep. It's almost 4 times the amount of water than is found in Lake Erie. So Braddock Bay is a really important section of Lake Ontario. It is a bird migration hotspot. Literally millions of birds migrate through this bay annually. In 1996, the bay had the highest recorded count of hawks, 140,000. The marshes surrounding the bay and the adjacent ponds serve as an important stopping point along the Atlantic Flyway. And at one point, 310 different bird species have been identified right here. That's really, really amazing. But years of erosion has caused the Bay Beach to virtually disappear. This is due to the storms, the intense wave action, and the erosion that was caused. So this has allowed invasive species such as cattails that really like cloudy water to take over. This has diminished this barrier beach from the strong wave action, and in turn damages the wetlands. So the engineers told us that without this kind of intervention, these coastal wetlands could completely vanish in about 50 years. So this project is vital to address this ongoing erosion and the wetlands loss. We know that it will prevent sand from filling the bay. We know it's going to stop the ongoing loss of wetlands, and it will restore water clarity necessary for a healthy aquatic plant community. People who like to go fishing will be happy to learn that this will improve habitat for the northern pike and other fish, and provide habitat that we hope will support the return of the black tern, which is currently extinct in New York State. Professor Doug Wilcox of SUNY Brockport called this the most important work that can be done for wetland restoration in all of the Rochester embayment. And I fully agree with that. So the federal government has put a lot of money on the table for this project, and I'd like to take a moment to issue a challenge to the marina owners and developers to kind of up the ante. Let's make this the greenest marina in all of the Great Lakes. Let's put in sewage pump out stations. Let's deal with anti-fouling paint. Let's make sure the restaurant uses reusable dishware, no plastic bags, no polystyrene. This has the potential to benefit not just this community, but to be a model for other marinas all throughout the Great Lakes. So I am really excited to see not only these wetlands restored, but for this to be a model for green marinas in the whole region. And EPA would be really happy to provide technical assistance to make that happen. So congratulations to everyone who worked hard on this.
No, I heard a lot of people thanked her, and you guys definitely have done a lot to help move this project along. One person I didn't hear was the Wesson Group, the contractors here on site who have actually been doing this work. I'd also like to highlight that this work is being done on time and on schedule. So I'd like to give them a round of applause for doing such a great job. So now we get to have a little bit of fun with the giant scissors and actually cut the ribbon on this project. So, use your weapon, Judith. Whoa, now there is an up and down to this. Here we go. All right. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have you guys move into position.
Oh my goodness.
Make sure that you have the Originator logo up.
Permit for this?
I will give a countdown as soon as everyone snaps a picture and gets you. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
All right.
No fingers for long.
We're giving haircuts this afternoon.
Can't have any
I've done a lot
misfires.
of ribbon cuttings, but never with anything that large.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our ribbon cutting ceremony. If you had questions, the team is available. We have some of the subject matter experts, but I'd also like to invite everybody on a project tour. There's a few gators, a couple of vehicles. You could take vehicles down to the far end of the marina, and then that's where the construction starts, and we'll be able to walk out or drive out to the actual barrier beach construction. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody coming, and if you'd like to meet down there for the site tour, you're more than welcome to. Thank you.
Thank you.
What we're seeing back here is stage one of the Barrier Beach Restoration Project. What this involved was laying out a bedding stone and our initial armor stone, the full length of our spine, which is about 1,675 feet. So as you can see, that spine extends sort of in a curvature going that way towards its terminus at that end. So they're about 1,600 feet right now, 75 feet left to complete the initial stage one. Once that's completed, they're going to work their way back. The contractors work their way back, placing a larger armor stone on top. That will get us our elevation, which is +6 above lake water datum, +6 feet. That'll provide the wave energy and the protection we're looking for out of this project. They'll work their way all the way back, placing that armor stone. And once that's completed, the final stage will be to fill in this area to the right with sand. And so what we can see out here, we have this offshore area where there's stone. That is a headland barrier, headland breakwater. The purpose of that headland breakwater, there will be two of them, that's the first one, there's a second one, is to create low energy system between that and the spine so that we can maintain a barrier beach that'll be important for habitat, shorebirds and others, and provide a good transition zone between the open water and the stone. So we see the beginnings of that being constructed. Over the next 2 months, we'll see those being completed and the sand being dredged and placed and closed off.